Hello and welcome to Harper Broadcast. I'm Amrita Tripathi, here in conversation today with senior journalist Akshay Mukul on his book Gita Press and the Making of Hindu India. As I keep telling you, I keep trying to make it the making of Gita Press, but in a way, that is the story of this book. You decided that there was a sort of gap in our knowledge about a very, very huge and influential publishing house. Can you take us through what the seed of the idea was?
See, it is actually, if you're growing up that part of the country, Bihar, UP, Gita Press is very much part of your life. Gita Press publications in your house, or maybe grandparents are reading what the journal called Kalyan. So it was very much part of it, and I've been very interested always in the history of publishing houses. So that, and what I've realized that many of the big scholars have worked on Hindi publishing house the way it do in the early part of the 20th century, but somehow it was Gita Press was missing. So that took me to Gita Press, and once I started working on it, I realized the story was entirely different from what we knew. It was a publishing house that brought cheap, high quality religious texts to ordinary Hindu homes, but at the same time, it was also working in tandem with the larger Hindu nationalist groups like RSS, Hindu Mahasabha, Jansang, and later Hindu.
This is all a matter of fact. I mean, you've sort of you've researched
every
it.
Fact has been footnoted, cited, everything. Yeah.
So in a way, I do want to ask you if you were surprised a little bit by the reactions that have come in, and we'll come to that also. But you envisage this as a book that is sort of got the rigor of an academic text,
yes,
but a sort of journalist telling.
Yeah, journalist telling, and we journalists are used to writing in very simple language. The whole idea is that it should reach the last reader. Every reader should understand. So that helps in a way because we can write. So I use the tools of an academician. Everything that an academician does in terms of rigor, I went through that. Be it corroborating evidence through multiple sources, archives, everything. But when I sat down to write, I wanted to tell the story, which was written in a chatty style, which is when one can read as a story without even going back and forth to footnotes. So that in a way being journalist helps.
Is there anything that surprised you? I mean, I know early on it was hard to find those sources, right? Was there anything that surprised you? It was a 5-year period.
Yeah.
Anything that surprised you in the research?
A lot of things. For instance, Hanuman Prasad Poddar himself. I had heard stories about him that his family had started this. Only when I saw the archives, read the other books, other texts about Gita Press, I realized no, it was a collective Marwadi enterprise. Marwadis had come together, set up a trust and started. But what surprised about this man, Hanuman Prasad Poddar, is his perseverance. He could have been, if for a moment we forget that he was part of the right-wing project, he would have been for every journalist's delight as editor. His power, the way he could get after someone to write, and he was like mind-blowing. He'll write, and I'm talking about pre-internet, I'm talking of some different era altogether, 1920s, 30s. He'll be sending telegrams, letters, that please write, and once he'll get after someone, he will not let the guy go easily. And mind you, he was not only doing to Indians, even scholars in Berkeley, scholars in Germany, he was writing to them who were considered scholars of Indology to write. And they were writing, most often they were obliging him. Gandhi, he had a new kind of way he had devised to let Gandhi write. He'll tell Mahadev Desai, and Mahadev Desai will tell Gandhi, and they had worked out some arrangement for Gandhi because Gandhi was a terribly busy person. But
he still managed to get him to contribute.
He managed to. This man was a big discovery, and he could do multiple things. He was a man who was also considered a saint. A man who would openly talk about having interacted with gods, and someone like G.D. Birla will say, "What rubbish is this?" At the same time, he'll be interacting with people across political spectrum. He had friends in Congress. Some of the leading lights of Congress were his great friends. Madan Mohan Malviya, Rajendra Prasad, you take others, many others. Kamalapati Tripathi, Govind Ballabh Pant, Seth Govindas, all were his great friends, very personal friends, and they were writing. And so he was a man who was really a great editor.
if we fast forward to 2016, 2017, the kind of atmosphere we're seeing right now in India does seem to be much more deeply polarizing.
Yeah.
It's very unusual to find people who are able to lay claim to that. You know, as a journalist and as the author of this, any reactions that sort of surprised you? And I'll come to the award ceremony later, but you know, because it almost seems that, like you said, you get painted with the brush of, you know, there's a conspiracy theory, or you're expected to be all praise.
Yeah. See, in a way, this whole polarization that you're talking about, polarization was there those days also, but they were still relating to each other in some way. They were not just saying, oh, okay, Amrita Tripathi is doing this, so she's this kind of person, I'll not talk to her. There was some minimum interaction happening. Even, say, someone like, I'll give you an example of Hanuman Prasad Poddar and G.D. Birla were great friends during their younger days. And after Gandhi's assassination, when he also gets arrested, and someone writes to G.D. Birla to get them out of jail, Poddar and others, Birla writes said, no, I will not do this, because they were not doing Sanatan Dharma, but Satan Dharma. But much later, you find again Poddar and Birla are interacting with each other. Even Nehru never wrote, but he was writing letters to Nehru. Nehru was in Indira Gandhi for that matter. Indira Gandhi, he hated she was all that Geeta Press didn't want, but after the Bangladesh war, or even after China, after Bangladesh, in fact, they were like really raving about her. So there was this kind of interaction happening across political spectrum. But now, yes, now it has become bitterly divided. Nobody wants to interact. Nobody wants to. This whole discourse has become very vitiated.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very vitiated.